What's up, fools? Is that how you talk to people?
Yeah.
All right, well, anyways, hey guys, welcome to the Drum Crypto Variety Show. Today is the 25th of June of 2020. Wow, we're at the end of the month already, and we're halfway through the year. Yay. A little more than halfway, actually, because we're going into the 7th month.
Are we?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
So, I don't know. This is cool. This is cool. Why'd you grab another bottle opener?
Where is it?
Here?
Oh, under.
Yeah. So, hi guys, welcome. Wow, the year has been flying fast, and it's mostly because of COVID, obviously.
COVID. Oh,
Yeah.
you mean Corona?
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Is it not on YouTube? Sorry, guys. Our back end's yelling at us. Just give me a second. Apparently, he doesn't see the stream. I'm wondering if it's on YouTube or not, but I do see it on Twitter. Shout out to whoever's with us on Twitter.
It's supposed to be on YouTube. I don't
It's
know.
supposed to be.
I don't make the rules.
I don't think you're good at this stream
Oh,
stuff.
okay, now I see it. Okay, good.
False alarm. Sorry, guys. Anyways.
Different link? I don't know how I did that. I'm so sorry about that.
Back to what we were saying. It's going to be a little bit of a packed show today. As you can see, we're going to be discussing a few things on today's Drunk Crypto Variety Show topics. We're going to be talking about police reform bill that was introduced just a few.
What's it called?
It's called the.
Policing Act. I wrote down after you told
Yes, yes. It's called the Justice and Policing Act of 2020. That's a short name, apparently, though. That's a short version. I think it might be longer. I don't know. I'm not sure.
69, 69?
I don't know, maybe 69, 69, yeah. So we're going to get into a few things. We're getting into that. We're going to get into a little bit of politics, talking about cryptocurrency, digital currency, possibly federal currency. I don't know. We're going to get into a lot of topics today.
Wow.
So
Did you write them down?
I did.
Exciting.
I did. I
Go
did.
ahead. You seem like you know what you're doing. I'm just in the fucking studio.
What do you mean? We're going to have a conversation.
No, yeah, totally. Let's go.
Wait, don't forget to pull up the chat.
Listen, I'm working on it, okay? You can wait.
This guy is not a very good guy. Okay, so I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and sorry guys, I'm dressed as a cow, just full disclaimer. I was having a conversation with one of my friends. I am a cow. I was having a conversation with one of my friends, and we were kind of going over what's happening in current events, especially what's going on with President Lincoln and the recent Policing Reform Act, which is a little contradictory only because people are advocating for defunding the police. The bill was shut down. So I'll touch on President Lincoln. People are saying that President Lincoln owned slaves, and there's also people who are saying that wasn't true. In our history, it wasn't depicted that President Lincoln, quote unquote, owned slaves by the official books. However, his nearest companions, they owned slaves. They were slave owners. So it's speculated. However, was President Lincoln in the, I guess, have slaves' best interest? No. It's just simply not true. He was nice to black people, but he did not have slaves' best interest. I just want to clarify that for anybody who may not know this information. This is well-known history, by the way. This is not something that someone just put out there. This is in our history books. The Emancipation Act was a military bill. It wasn't, meant to free slaves. There were states that were excluded from that bill, which were states from the Union who were loyal to the Union, so they could still have slaves. And quite frankly, both him and his closest allies agreed that white and black people would actually never get along, and they wanted to actually send them to Africa to colonize instead. So if you see any information or videos that's saying, hey, like, why are black people getting so upset about President Lincoln? He was a controversial man, and that's all there is to it. So.
That's true. Wow, interesting point from the chat here. Let me see if I
What's
can
going
pull
on
it
in the
up.
chat?
Let me see if I can pull it up.
Wow, it covers my face.
All right, so boom, chat in your face. So you can't see it, but yeah, you can see it. So Black Lives Matter started. First of all, let me take a moment. It says, "What's up from sunny Scotland?
Hi.
What's up?"
What's up?
So Black Lives Matter started as a grassroots movement to be admired, but now it's been hijacked. Sort of. Yes, a little bit. Like, kind of. Yes. But also. So yes.
It's kind of been hijacked. The movement, the name, yes, it's been hijacked. Black Lives Matter as an organization itself has not been hijacked, but the movement, people are bandwagoning. They're jumping on a cause and they don't know what they're doing. So yes, they're hijacked.
Here's what hasn't been hijacked. My life matters.
My life matters.
So like the ideal behind it, whether someone wants to use it for political, whatever, the ideal behind it, my life still matters.
It does matter.
That's how I feel about that.
Okay, so let's dig into more about slaves. We're not going to talk about slaves. Well, slavery is still legal in the U.S. Just fun fact.
13th Amendment, yes.
Yes. So we're going to talk about this Policing Reform Act, which has the country kind of split because what's wrong? Audio? Is the audio bad?
Now you hear me.
Was our audio down? Sorry, guys. I didn't notice my audio was down.
Now you hear me.
It was way down.
Tell me these things way sooner.
Whoa,
but-
yeah, no one said anything. So we're going to touch a little bit on the Police Reform Act. I had mentioned earlier, today's Drunk Crypto is going to be a little political, more political than usual. We're still going to talk about some cryptocurrency that kind of ties into the mix, but I want to touch on this Policing Act just because it's been a hot topic, and I spent all day doing the due diligence as a citizen of the United States and reading this act. I spent 3, 4, maybe 5 hours sitting here reading this,
Very
going
long time.
through. I was sitting forever, like I'm telling you, I promise. I was researching. But I was also having a conversation with my friend, just like back and forth, and just based off the things that I saw in the act. Because there's really a big feud right now between Democrat versus Republican, and it happens every 4 years, but it's never happened like this. It's to the point where people aren't getting upset to the people who are actually in office. And if you're a Democrat or if you're a Republican and, whatever side of the party you're on, there's hatred like towards you as a physical person. And I just want to make sure and tell everyone that is not okay. There should never be hatred or bigotry towards someone because they are affiliated with a political party. And I think that's not right. And I feel like that's our stance in politics in the country, which is not okay.
I think also just to kind of add a little bit to that, as much as yes, every vote counts and you should vote if there's stuff that you believe in, I don't think just like you should accept other people are going to vote one way and you're going to vote one way and whatever, you should also accept that some people aren't going to vote. And so regardless if you're red or you're blue, if you if someone doesn't vote, then you have beef with that person too, because you're just letting the other side win,
Yeah.
And so
no.
I just feel for example, this election, I'm really gonna have to for real take a long time to consider what I actually want to do, because if it ends up being a thing where it's Biden versus Trump, I mean, I don't want to fucking vote for Joe Biden. He's creepy. I don't really like the way that he talks about black people should vote for me, and if you don't, then you're not black. I don't really like him as a human being to vote for him, but it's I don't know. So let's say I didn't vote. I shouldn't be a criminal for that, or people shouldn't look at me like I'm on the wrong side of history.
Well, the
and blah,
unfortunate
blah, blah.
reality of the United States is that because we're
Maybe I
built on
trust
this
y'all.
two-party system, even though there are more parties,
Mm-hmm.
That's just how it is. It's a kind of a money game almost, but
Yeah.
yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. So the reason that I feel like this bill had came out and most of the Democrats had shut it down since they're for the people. Obviously, they're right now. They are for cancel culture. Everything is siding with what the majority sees fit, and based off that. Obviously, they're going to try to side with, BLM and institutional racism and all that stuff that's kind of being thrown at the wall right now. We've already seen them in, African tribal garments, which, oh, wow, don't ever do that again. But they're going to side with the people on this one, let's say.
Yo, them Kente Claus really pissed me off.
Now the
God.
bill
How
states
stupid
that
are
it's
you?
basically a pay to play if you really want to break it down to it's the nitty gritty of it. Instead of defunding the police and reallocating funds, what's happening is we are incentivizing them to do good. There are really, really good things in the bill, and there are things that I agree with, like the whole thing with the chokeholds and cameras need to be on at all times. And, there's a lot of, it's a good bill. It's a really good bill. It's just not something that every state needs to do. It's an option. You have the option to adopt it once you accept the money. And if you accept the money, then you follow the laws. So it's not something that's going to be for everyone. And that's a problem.
Why can't America be like that? If you accept the money, then you follow the laws. Like, I didn't accept the money. Like, I'm chilling. Don't make me
Right.
follow
Well, the
these
state.
laws.
Well, the state would, accept the money, and then obviously they'd have to implement. They'd have to implement laws and procedures and policies that coincide with the bill. And then they are incentivized. But I mean, my question is, do we really have to, is that the way it should be? Is this really like, hey, you're gonna now do what you need to do if I give you more money? Is that how this has always been? I mean, a lot of bills, it's either we're defunding you or we're funding you. I don't see a place where it's just, hey, this is what needs to happen. I like a lot of things about the bill. It talks about no longer militarizing the police, like, hey, we can't take these old military weapons and put them on to police forces. Obviously, a chokehold. One thing I didn't understand, the lynching. 7 presidents, plus more than that, have always advocated to outlaw lynching in the United States.
I don't get it.
However,
it's already not legal.
if we're going to sit here and talk about it, when you lynch someone, you're murdering them. So unless murdering is no longer illegal, and it changed to my knowledge, there's no actual reason that lynching laws need to be in place. Because if it's something that's heavily frowned upon and it's very specific to a group, that then becomes kind of like you're then targeting a very specific group of people who do a very specific thing. And then, like, you're pinpointing.
That's not that, but that's not the actual issue. That because there may be specific groups of people who commit specific crimes, and to target those groups of people to stop those crimes makes sense. We're not talking about that, but like just the fact that, like, first of all, murder's already illegal, manslaughter, all these things, like, you can't, attempted murder is illegal, like, all this stuff's illegal. So to make lynching, which is technically more murder, like, illegal, it just seems like
it's redundant.
It's redundant. Just, the redundancy is just, it's ridiculous. It feels like it's not needed, and it feels like it's just one of those things where it's like, okay, well, they want something, let's give them something. Like, it's not exactly the something that I want. And like people that are like, oh, I can't believe it's 2020 and lynching is still legal. No, it's not. Yes, like the term like lynching or whatever is not like banned. Like, it's not it is a banned activity because there's no way to do it in a way that you're not like trying to like hurt someone. Like, if it's a noose, it's around their neck, you're hanging them from a tree, it's like a public thing. Like, that's not legal anywhere in the United States, like, to the capacity of like what's actually happening. Like,
right.
I just don't understand why there needs to be a separate law for that. Like, it just seems like a lot.
It is a lot, and that's why I kind of don't necessarily like that's like I understand where they were saying like, hey, we've been trying to like
political points.
I'm sorry. Hey, everyone in the chat. Let me say hi before I continue. But like, I get it that they're trying to get across, like that these ideologies are no longer okay. But like, I'm not going to sit here and kind of like pinpoint the Republicans, but Republicans usually want less government. Why add more laws that are kind of actually unnecessary? Like those that's just my, opinion. I did my own research. These are just my own opinions. I didn't go look at anyone's podcast. I didn't read CNN. I did none of that.
You were reading the actual bill.
Yeah, I was reading the actual bill word for word, looking everything over. So I mean, these are just things that I find concerning. If they don't do it correctly, which is probably why the Democrats shut it down and said that it was a Band-Aid. Or also, I mean, that was a really good political move because, hey, they're not actually trying to help you. Vote Biden 2020. Now, people are arguing like, oh, they put a black guy there. That's a card, dude. Don't fall for the cards, the gimmicks. I mean, it's to make a statement right now. There's a political election coming up, and each political party is trying to
There's a political election coming up.
They're trying to stake their case. So just because they put someone to represent something doesn't always mean it's the best option. It doesn't mean it's a bad option, but it's honestly not the best option. And it would actually take a really long time to implement this. A lot of these procedures wouldn't be implemented until 2022, which is kind of a long time, if you ask me. There's a lot of things that can happen between now and 2022. So, I mean, how many more incidents do we need to have between now and 2022 that the public does not agree with, that the public feels threatened by? These are all things that, you know, I understand it takes time to reform, but that's just the thing. People aren't no longer comfortable with a reform, especially when it comes to incentivizing, you know, the police for doing good. I mean, they should already be doing good. Other countries don't have this issue. We have this issue. And it's kind of just sad, unfortunately. That's the unfortunate truth. The bill, like I said, it has a lot of good points, but it's not something that every state needs to say, hey, we have to adopt that. It's if I want to accept your money, and if I accept your money and I didn't do the correct thing a year, or I failed, then I don't get paid for the following year, or I get a deduction in pay. Like, it's not, it's like, that's like a slap on the hand for me. It's not like, you know, like.
Does it address anything about like how entitled police in America feel like they are?
Does it state anything about how they feel entitled? What do
Like-
you mean by that?
Okay, so like, have you ever seen a cop like there's a red light, and he'll like turn his lights on and like go through the red light, and then he'll turn them shits off? Like,
No.
when he gets through
None
that?
of those things are stated in the bill. It's mostly, this bill is really ruled towards the concept of police brutality and training only.
Here's my
That's
thing.
all that bill addresses.
Here's my thing, and I'm gonna take a wild stance on this. I think that being a cop should suck.
It should suck. Why?
Do you remember Game of Thrones, the fucking the winter people that were like on the wall or whatever, and like their life fucking sucked, like they couldn't like marry and do all this shit, and like they just had to stay on the wall. And, like
I
wall
don't
life.
I don't think it should be like that.
I don't think that you shouldn't be able to marry and like wall life and like type shit, but like I don't think that there should be like all these perks to being a cop. Like obviously every job
What
comes with its
perks
perks.
do you mean? Because I mean,
but,
like I said,
I can-
policing
if
in
I'm a
other
co-
country does not equal to policing here in America.
Well,
It's
I'm only talking about
completely
America.
different.
Like if I'm a cop, I can speed and it's no big deal. If I'm a retired cop, doesn't even matter how long I've been retired, I can speed. It's almost no big deal. I've seen my dad get a million tickets.
A million.
Kid's got a lead foot. Like I've seen him get out of so many
A
tickets.
lead foot.
Kid's got a lead foot. He drives fast cars his whole life. I learned to drive in a BMW M5. Like, you know, kid likes to drive fast cars. It's
Oh my
lit.
God.
I love it. I'm just saying, like, police, even after the fact, like, even after you're not a cop anymore, they look out for each other because it's a fraternity. And, like, I get it, but there needs to be, like how there's 3 whatevers of government, so it's like we can, this one checks this one, that checks this one, that checks this one, and they all check each other or whatever.
Okay.
Like, nobody's checking the police. Like, there's not, like they arrest us, and, like, obviously we can't arrest them, but, like, there needs to be, like, some party that, like, can arrest police for just fucking up. Like, there should be cop cars on the side of the
So-
road that only arrest cops.
Okay. That's funny. And law enforcement for the enforcement.
Right,
That's funny.
and then we enforce the law enforcement. So we're not directly impacting the cops. So, like, we don't have a direct say over, like, you know, whatever. So they're not afraid of us, whatever. Like, we're scared of them, but then the law enforcement is scared of us, and then the cops are afraid of the law enforcement.
I mean,
It would just be a perfect fucking, like, balance of power. Like, we
Is-
check the
is
law
it-
enforcement to make sure they're doing their job, because their job is to make sure that the cops are doing their job, while the cops are there to make sure that we're doing our job. Like, it's perfect. It's a
it's
perfect
called
fucking system.
IA. What is that? What is IA? International Affairs.
No, internal affairs.
Internal affairs.
So the thing about internal affairs is it's internal, and it's not a separate thing. So, like, obviously, the job of internal affairs, what their job is to do is to mitigate how bad a city looks to its constituents, regardless of, you know, if a cop was wrong, right, this or that. Like, there's a spin team that's there, and their job, like, their responsibility is to spin shit to make everyone that's involved less culpable, regardless of what the situation is. So, like, if they can't spin it that way, then they'll fucking exile you. But until then, it's still a fraternity, and it's still like this thing.
Well, so going back to the bill now, it does help mitigate that issue
Does it though? Because like cops,
to an extent.
cops speed,
To an
and
extent.
it's no big deal. Like
So-
they drive 90 on the highway while
So it's
while
not
I'm doing, like,
it's not
70.
things like that. It doesn't help when it
The
comes
whole
to those
culture needs to-
situations.
Yeah, but the whole culture, in my opinion, it's not just police aren't like brutal with you just because they're angry people and whatever. It's part of their culture where they're better than you because they've been tasked with keeping you quote unquote safe, so they're better than you, and like that type of shit's like no buenos for me. Like I don't want that to be
That's why people
part of police culture.
That's why
anymore.
people prefer defunding rather than reform, because we have tried reform in the past. In actually the city of Minneapolis, they've had several reforms in their police force, and nothing's actually changed. So that's why a lot of people don't see reform as an actual solution, because it hasn't worked in the past. And that's just the truth. I don't know. We've had these trial and errors already. It's great that it was an attempt, but it's nothing that's actually concrete. It's something that if states want money, then if they can do this, and then that's what it is. But like that doesn't necessarily mean anything's going to happen. It doesn't necessarily mean that, if the police stations themselves fail, then, nothing happens besides they just get their funding taken away. And it's not like it's taken away from funding that they already get. It's taking away from additional funding that they will receive. Police stations don't usually need additional funding. They're pretty well funded. They're like literally in almost any situation, you kind of need a cop.
Funding.
You kind of need a cop for any situation. There's lots of extra shifts that cops you're not understanding what I'm actually saying, but I'll keep explaining. But there's Walmart needs cops, Target needs cops. You need cops for city affairs. You need cops for a fair. You need cops for literally anything you actually do, any event. It's something that's
technically not a true statement, but we'll address that in a second.
Well, the city makes you. It's not that you have a choice. Event places make you due to insurance. It goes a little deep, but
right. But that's what I'm saying. Like you don't
need these things, but they
Some
make
things
you
are
get
forced,
them.
Right. Some things are forced, but that's also part of the problem. So.
I don't think that's an issue per se, because that's just to keep your event, let's say, safe, right? Let's go off the basis that anything that we're doing to enforce the police for event spaces or for my storefront, it's to keep it safe, because that's what you would technically pay them to do, right? You're hiring private police at that rate.
That's also not true. So stores that have cops don't have cops there because it makes the store safer, because in general stores are inherently safe. Like we don't really have a lot of fucking shootings that happen like in stores like that. Like it's not like the cops being there like they're preventing any like heinous acts from happening. Cops are specifically
It's mostly
there.
for theft.
Right. So like that's not something that a store that keeps the store safer maybe in some
their
weird way,
assets.
but,
That's
like,
what they consider to be safe. They don't care about their shoppers.
Right.
They care about their assets. Anything
like-
that a police is technically hired is to keep an asset or a thing safe.
And technically, when you see cops outside of Walmart, they're not on duty. They're doing what's called a uniform detail, where they still wear their uniform, they still present in a police car, but they're not getting paid by the city. They're getting paid by Walmart, who is hiring them as pretty much security with guns, because Walmart already has security, but so that also I think is fucked. I think that if police are there to like protect and serve everyone, that no corporate interest should be able to buy police officers for specific protection. I don't think that is, because if you want the police to specifically protect you, you have to petition them to do it, like through like an order of restraint or some shit against somebody, or like an order of protection or some shit. Like at that point, you've paid money. There's paperwork. Now the police are legally obliged to like protect you or whatever. I don't think that should be the case. I think police should be legally obliged to protect you. That's why I'm saying, like, I don't think it should be fun to be a cop. Like, it's not fun to work at McDonald's. Nothing about working at McDonald's is fun. It's sweaty. You're there flipping burgers and fucking fries, and like you're dealing with people that think that you're, just working at McDonald's, whatever. I don't gotta treat you nice. Like, McDonald's is a shitty fucking place to work, but people still do it. being a police officer, unfortunately, is not a glamorous thing. Like, could you be viewed like if policing was a fucking shitty, really bad job, it would be way easier for me to call all police officers heroes. Because right now, there's so many perks that you get that I don't get. That like, I get it. Like, I know why you want to be a cop. Like, your life's way fucking easier. Like, regardless that, yes, you may be in danger and have to respond in dangerous situations, but you got to remember, there's people that live in dangerous situations every day of their lives without being police officers. So that shit doesn't sway me anyway. Like, it feels like there's way more that you get by being a police officer than you lose, and that's not heroic to me, personally.
Okay, those are fair points. I see the chat's going. I see a couple things in there. Things will change if cops are going to jail for their crimes. Yes, and that's something that the bill advocates for them to be more accountable for their crimes. Something I didn't agree on, however, was that technically the internal investigations that cops do within the unions now is still considered to be an independent investigation. Something that they're adding is additional funding for civilians to petition appeals for these investigations, which then they can conduct a additional, private investigation, and then the state can take it up.
Was there anything about FOIA requests? Because those are way too expensive. The Freedom of Information Act?
So not particularly.
I can go to
information is supposed to be accessible to the public, but like you were telling me earlier, they put like high price points on them.
Yeah.
So what's going to happen is that there's going to be, according to the act, if they ever do get this passed, the bill, is that the agencies that collect all this information have to send everything to the Attorney General, and a lot of these things will be updated to a police misconduct database, which is, I'm like 50-50 on it, because it depends on what's up. Not everything is going to be uploaded there. It's only some things, like if there's a complaint and there's probable cause and all these other things. Not all, if I do 79 complaints on a cop and he doesn't get disciplined, it doesn't go on there. But I can complain 79 times, which that I don't agree with.
I think every single complaint should go on there, and I obviously get that, like, we would get spammy complaints, but like also a reasonable person would be able to sort through the complaints and like look and see like what actually matches up. Like,
that's true.
Like, you think that it's just like, oh, if we have like Yelp for cops, like people will leave bad reviews and they'll be fake, but like you kind of know which reviews are fake and which ones aren't. Like, we have ways of proving like that. Like, for example, the technology exists that if I want to leave a review and have it like GPS fucking time-stamped and all this shit, like it's possible for me to do that. So like, the technology is there to make it so that you can sort through and see like which ones are actually like legitimate and which ones aren't. Obviously, since it's public, everybody gets to just leave whatever they want anyway, but like, it's really not hard to sort through a little bit of information and figure out what the fuck is what. Like, it's really not that hard.
Yeah, and chances are it's not like somebody's gonna. You can't really randomly complain. You have to know a cop's name, like at very least his name. They have to be searchable within the database, I'm assuming, and then the complaint goes through. It's not like I can.
And there could be other. And the thing about it is, if we kept track of everything when it came to cops, like from their body cam, GPS coordinates, whatever, like if somebody complains or whatever, they can complain about some shit, and then also another system could upload where the cop was during the time span this complaint like actually made sense. Like there's ways that you could set it that it's like, here's a very credible complaint and here's a probably not legitimate complaint, right? Like based on like if I'm complaining, oh, the cop came to my house and
I mean, the purpose of doing audits and looking through all this information is to like verify whether things are true or not.
Right.
I mean, the more,
but at least having the information accessible though to everybody, like,
right,
is a step in the right direction.
Right.
A start for something.
So something I saw in the chat was that if we start defunding, it will cause other problems such as corruption.
Less cops, more crimes and corruptions. Yeah, okay.
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. Most other countries don't have corrupt public. They have corrupt government and corrupt literally everything else: police, military. The public is usually not corrupt. That's not something that's usually an issue anywhere. And places historically actually have defunded the police, such as Camden, New Jersey, have shown a decrease in crime rate up to 70%. So that's actually not true. A lot of the crime that we see is not actual crime. There's a lot of petty theft, and there's, you know, little things that happen, and there's hiccups that happen along the road that are serious, but a lot of the things that we arrest people for in jail, who are actually sitting rotting in jail today, aren't actually criminals. That's just the truth.
I mean, if you let me tell it, I don't believe that anything that doesn't damage someone's person or property is not a crime. I don't, because that's the only, like, if I'm just living my life chilling, I'm not bothering nobody, then I clearly am not doing anything offensive. Like, it's not, there's no crime being committed. So really what it actually boils down to is damaging someone else's person or property, because that covers everything else.
My thing is, when you go outside, you don't go outside thinking, oh, well, let me act right because the police is around. That's not usually a thought in your mind. You live your regular life, and, I mean, if you see a cop, you slow down if you're speeding, you know, like, it's not, you're not going to act any different than you are as a human being. There's more good people in the world that they are bad, that just based off my belief, or else the place would be on fire.
Just based off the fucking numbers, like, there's more good people in the world than bad.
Most people don't have actual malicious intent, so I don't know. I don't necessarily believe there would be more crime, particularly just based off actual numbers. So I don't know. Let me look what else you guys are talking about. Less cops equals more crime. No, can't agree with that one. What are some of the perks? Perks, police, well, there's police unions. We all know that there's police unions. And if, you know, questions that people have, why did this cop get away with shooting, let's say, Breonna Taylor in her sleep? They claimed she was sleeping. They didn't even write a report. They did none of that stuff. Why are these things not being held accountable? Why is no one holding these cops accountable? That is a perk. You get a free murder pass.
But even beyond the free murder pass, the perk is if you did murder someone, right, and you're a cop, you're not going to get arrested in a violent way. Like, you're not going to get beat up and thrown around just because you're seen as, like, this violent person. Like, you're going to walk into the station and be processed probably without ever being in handcuffs.
I mean,
So,
there's just
that's a fucking perk.
there's
if you ask
better
me.
treatment. I mean, just overall, there's a lot of things that can be pointed out, but I don't know. It's to each to own, each own discretion.
Wait, so they didn't mention anything about FOIA requests in the...
No,
Okay.
that wasn't mentioned.
Because I think that we need to cap how much a FOIA request costs at like $50 to $100 maximum. And I get it that, like, you could request like body cam footage.
What does that say? Wonder it's a shame Tim and Anna don't get it. They would be a great addition to our community. What is
So-
it that I don't get?
So Gandhiji is talking to the Crypto Wonders, saying that we still haven't gone on their stream, and we should.
Oh, LOL. Yeah, we still haven't gone on your stream.
I don't know though, dog. I heard y'all was the feds. Boy.
I don't really care. I feel like they've been consistent enough to the point where, I mean, hey, I'll jump on at this rate. Like, I don't care. I like having these conversations. These are things that I find interesting.
Y'all not the feds though, for real, 100% not the feds.
Stop it. They're not the feds.
I don't know.
No, they're not the
I heard
feds.
y'all was the feds. Boy.
They're not the feds. Leave them alone. Anyways, so that was my spiel on the bill. Sorry if I got too political for you. I did my due diligence as a citizen of the country and did my research and didn't
mention
listen to,
anything
crazy
about
people on the news. So.
Training.
Training? Yes. Okay, so training, actually, something that I really like about training is that they
Perfect.
will not only give, like, obviously they're going to incentivize the agencies or law enforcement agencies to train their cops and give them this, that, and the third. I feel like we should have a better guideline and a better framework put in place for police
But so
training.
in the thing,
It
there's
didn't
nothing-
talk about that. What it did talk about is, this is the process. The Attorney General is going to compile information from all the crime rates and all this stuff, all the data that's out there regarding agencies and complaints and this, that, and
Data,
the
you
third.
say.
And then from that, based on that, they will partner with police agencies that show certain discrepancies based off that data compiled, and then they will implement policies, procedures, this, that, and the third based off that. I think we need to have a national standard for police training. It's very simple. Every other country does it. For some reason, our country has weird standards. Some places will literally hire you as a cop in 2 weeks. Some places, they actually train you. Like, everyone just has their own thing. It's like a private agency. Policing is a private agency, basically, in the United States. And it's not something that's federal. If we're going to have people on the street that are going to tell me what to do and going to tell me how the law works, then they need to have a federal guideline as to how they need to act. And that is not in the bill. However, what they will do is that the Attorney General is allowed to allocate funds to grassroots organizations that represent, but that's another gray area. I don't know all the grassroots organizations that they would actually give this money to. Who's to say that they would give it to, Black Lives Matter to teach police how to de-escalate and hire someone? I don't know. These are things, but they can give them to grassroots organizations to encourage and implement policies and procedures and trainings for police. They can recommend things. So it's a little more community-based, and I like that. I like that they're taking a community-based approach. However, there are some gray areas. So I don't know. But that's the training part. The training part was okay. I just think that we need to have something federally in place that states how our law enforcement needs to act, not something that we're just going to leave to the city and to the states and say, all right, just slap them on the street like that. I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with that.
Every fifth day.
Every fifth day. Yeah, they said that they're going to encourage continuing education for cops, but that's the thing, they're going to encourage it. It's not something that is going to be enforced. But also, like I said, they're going to be funding trainings and stuff. So there's going to be continuing education within the force, but not like as individuals, I guess you could say. Like they'll push the individuals to not only serve within their communities, like their towns and cities, but also to just be more educated. Just go be an educated individual, and hopefully through these means, they will, I guess, be nicer people in society. That's what I'm assuming this is getting at. I'm seeing the chat going, so let me try to squint and read from all the way over here.
Nothing else going on right now.
A heart and a this, because of each state having their own sovereign laws. Yes, each state having their own sovereign laws. But again, you're enforcing not only state laws, but police also enforce some federal laws to an extent, because some things, they overlap. So I feel like there just needs to be a better guideline. But that's the other thing with this bill. It's each state has their own sovereign laws, and each state doesn't need to take this bill. If Kentucky said, you know what, no, fuck that, we're not doing any of that, they can. And that's honestly just not solving any problems then. Nothing's actually happening. So.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know. That's my rant. I don't want to rant about it anymore. I've ranted on it forever. I actually want to talk some. I think crypto's next. Whoa. What's happening?
Whoa.
Oh, we actually have a great video to show you guys.
What's next is we're going to talk about how we're going to transition from politics to more politics. But we're going to talk about how Florida is actually fucking crazy, like in real life, y'all.
Florida is crazy in real life. You guys have heard of Florida Man. You've heard of Florida woman recently,
literally
but take a
cannot
look at this
mandate
video.
somebody to wear a mask knowing that mask is killing people. It literally is killing people. And we the people are waking up, and we know what citizens arrest is, because citizens arrests are already happening, okay? And every single one of you that are obeying the devil's laws are going to be arrested. And you, doctor, are going to be arrested for crimes against humanity. Every single one of you have a smirk behind that little mask, but every single one of you are going to get punished by God. You cannot escape God. You cannot escape God. I'm going to say that again. You cannot escape God, not even with the mask or 6 feet, okay? 6 feet, like I said before, is military protocol. You're trying to get the people to train them, so when the cameras, the 5G comes out, what? They're gonna scan everybody. We got to get scanned. We got to get temperatured. The kids have to go to school with masks. Are you insane? Are you crazy? I think all of you should be in a psych ward right the heck now. Because none of you know what the hell you are all talking about. This is insane. And then you want to open this meeting with a prayer to God. Are you praying to the devil? Because God is not listening to that prayer. Because all of you are practicing the devil's laws. What happened to Bill Gates? Why is he not in jail? Why is Hillary Clinton not in jail? Why are all of these pedophiles that are demanding you all to listen to their rules? Why are they not in jail? Oh, is it because you're part of them? Are you part of the deep state? The deep state is going down. And if any of you are in the deep state, you're going down with it.
Okay, crazy lady. All right. So apparently, there was obviously a public hearing in West Palm Beach today, Florida, where I reside. Hello. And a bunch of these people.
The rest of the videos, oh my God.
I have to go watch them.
Oh
where
my
can
God.
I find these videos?
Literally just, honestly, I just typed in Florida on Twitter, and I pressed search, and then I went to the video section, and just today was a mess.
Okay.
If you guys are if you're ever bored and you don't have anything to do, just type in Florida, okay, on Twitter in the search bar, and then instead of going to like people, top, whatever, go to videos, have fun. We never cease to like people have been saying that America is the Florida of the world. And like
Wow.
Excuse me, as much as I want to be like offended by that, I fucking get it. Like, it's trash here. Like, it's really like we deal with that all the time. Like, why? For what? Hello? What?
That is so funny.
It makes no sense.
I don't know, man. That's pretty funny. Man, Florida. Yeah. So if you guys have a chance, want to get some laughs in, just literally Google Florida, and I guess you'll see something that might chuckle your humor. Who knows? But
chuckle your humor?
Yeah.
That ain't it, but it's fine. I'll allow it. I'll allow it.
Yeah, I don't have very good slogans.
I'll allow it.
Cows don't tell the joke, they just milk.
And we're definitely officially done here. What was the next topic? Jesus Christ, drunk crypto.
So actually, we're actually going to go into crypto now. We're going to go ahead and segue fully into the world of cryptocurrency and talk about a few things. First and foremost, I kind of want to touch on where are we with the digital dollar? I see that coming up very soon. I see that approaching us.
Digital dollar?
Yes. I saw that Trump was
pie.
attacking Bitcoin, quote unquote, recently, which kind of gives me an indicator that we might have competition. So that might be an indicator that the digital dollar is coming. And I know it's coming. It's not a matter of if, but when. So, I mean, I'm not necessarily excited for a U.S. digital dollar, but it would actually give more credibility to the arguments that people give when they say, oh, I can't touch Bitcoin. Well, now you can't touch the digital dollar. So what now, bitch?
Whoa.
So
Which?
that's something that I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting. But PayPal recently had also rolled out earlier this week. I believe it was
fuck
Tuesday.
PayPal.
You're so funny. It was Tuesday that PayPal.
Oh, shit, what up, Rich?
Hi, Rich. Hello, welcome to the chat. Welcome everyone who's tuning in just now.
I'm just gonna eat some pie, yo. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Go ahead, eat your pie. But PayPal, if you guys haven't heard yet, has been rolling out also Venmo as well. The option of buying and selling cryptocurrencies. I think they're gonna. I mean, if you know anything about Cash App, it's
Venmo?
basically Venmo and PayPal. Yes, both of them.
Cryptocurrency?
Yeah. They're kind of late to the game. I don't want to say they're late to the game, but like, I mean, Cash App kind of beat them. Like when you're talking about your competition, Robinhood and Cash App already beat you.
Well, hold up. Wait a minute. Robinhood didn't beat nobody.
Well, Robinhood's its own thing.
We don't even know if that's Bitcoin back there. So.
Well, okay, yes, but So Robinhood technically is just a trading platform on its own, and Cash App, the ones that would be most comparable would be Cash App, Robinhood, and Venmo as just companies. But like in the grand scheme of things, they're actually all competitors. Just based off how well,
PayPal owns Venmo.
Breaking things down works. Like Macy's was a competitor to like Kmart, you know, like those you would never compare those stores, but they were competitors in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, I know, right? So weird. Target is a competitor at Macy's too. Like they're two different, complete, opposite everything.
Target's a competitor of Macy's.
Yes.
I don't go to Target to buy my fucking polo, so
Yeah,
obviously-
it's weird, but that's how it works. Like when you look at the stuff, like I remember when I used to work for Target, that was one of our biggest competitors.
that
Like
doesn't make any sense.
it doesn't make sense.
That's like saying the Miami Dolphins' biggest competitor is the New York Knicks. Like
It doesn't make
it's not the
sense.
same sport.
It doesn't actually make sense, but it's a thing. But they're kind of late to the game in that sense. I think that it's cool that they're implementing that because not everybody uses Cash App. So to bring more awareness to that is awesome. And then I hope that they will also give companies the option to be cashed out into Bitcoin. You know, like if somebody pays me and I receive USD, can I cash out into BTC and put it in my wallet instead? Is that an option? Do I have that option? That would be really cool to implement into PayPal business. Just saying.
Who knows?
Who
I'm
knows?
just saying, I got pie, so.
I don't know. That's a really cool concept. So if PayPal ends up doing that, shout out to PayPal because that's actually pretty amazing. And if PayPal owns Venmo, as you stated, that they may or may not,
I'm like 101%
then that's
sure.
also cool because Venmo is more of a social payment platform where you pay your
Weird
friends.
concept. Weird concept.
It is a weird concept. However, it's something that it makes it friendly
public. Like, what?
to pay someone in Bitcoin. And if you see, hey, so-and-so just paid so-and-so in Bitcoin, you're like, oh, is that so? Oh, like, you know, it just brings that like cognitive attention to the matter of the subject. So,
Those are words, yeah.
I don't know. I think that's a pretty cool power move if that's actually what's going to happen. So I'm just saying. And I think there was something about games I wanted to talk about.
I quoted Tim on Twitter. I'm eating pie, dog. What do you
I
mean
have to
quoted
say
me?
one more thing about Anna Moo. Moo, bitch. I'm just kidding.
What did you
It's
quote-
actually really hot in
what
this
did you quote
onesie.
me
It's
on?
so hot in this onesie
It's hot
because
in
all
this
these
house,
like
kid.
there's a bunch of lights in front of me and they're just like beaming down
Dying right
and
now.
I'm clearly wearing a fuzzy one sleeve suit. So
Wow, that's funny.
when it comes to DeFi is also a pretty hot topic when it comes to crypto these days. Decentralized finance,
It's pretty much
as you
BitConnect
guys
2.0, no?
is pretty much what?
BitConnect 2.0? Or 3.0, I guess, technically, because they already had a BitConnect 2.0.
Yes, but DeFi is
Oh,
DeFi
crypto.
is a community. There's a lot of DeFi tokens or stable coins. Stable coins and DeFi coins is what they're calling them. Ethereum gas prices have been at an all-time high for the past 2 years
Yeah.
because there's been so many transactions with these tokens and coins recently.
Yes.
They've been skyrocketing.
Yeah, babe.
Compound coin, I believe, compound token.
Yeah.
Basically, it compounds. It earns compound interest over time as you have the token. That's been something that's tripled, I believe, this last week from what someone told me.
Here's my
I
thing.
believe that's what it is.
Look.
So DeFi as a sector is really taking off right now.
Look.
And I mean, it's finance.
Here's the thing.
People like finance.
Here's the thing. Supposedly,
Supposedly.
crypto, oh, Bitcoin, let's get away from the banks, blah, 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 banks are bad. And now we're, like, loaning people money, like, with interest, like a bank. Just, like, a little weird. It's, like, a little weird.
Sort of. I mean, sure, it's a little weird, but that's where the market's going. This makes some people feel more comfortable with that concept. Some people feel better about that concept. Like, do you remember that company that we had? It was the only company that I think was crypto related at the entire like convention. Emerge. Remember we went to Emerge, and then there was that one company.
They didn't show up.
Yes, they did. Remember, they showed up late.
Oh, yeah.
They showed up really late. They were literally the only crypto company there, and they showed up late.
What's their, wow.
It was like ETH. It had something to do with Ethereum, but basically, you know, they were decentralized finance where you can go, you can get a CD, you can go and invest in, you know, a CD. What else did they have? high yield savings account, and a few other things. They offered a few services. They had better rates than traditional markets, which seemed better. And then they would also keep the money that you invested at the rate that you invested it at, so it doesn't decrease or change throughout the period that it's nested. Which is why decentralized finance is attractive to people, because it takes the traditional concepts of banking, where you keep your money, you don't touch it, it keeps the same value, but it grows in interest. Wait, what? No.
No, you lose money.
You lose money because of inflation, and
Inflation's 2.2% every year.
Right.
And the most interest you get from a bank is like 2%. So like you're losing money.
No, I get that. I get that you're
2%
actually losing
2%
money
is a
in the grand
ridiculously
scheme
high,
of things.
Like, yield for any account.
You're
That's
losing
really
money
high.
in the grand scheme of things because the rate of the actual dollar is decreasing.
Right. You're losing purchasing power.
But in this instance, if I put in 10 Ethereum at the rate of 200 USD, it'll stay at that rate. Additionally,
Why?
I'm compounding interest.
I don't like that.
Well, if Ethereum went down, you're up. So
I don't like that either. What? Why?
that's how it works. Some of them work differently, but that's how a lot of them work.
I don't like it.
It's supposed to it's like a stable coin. Like when you deposit it, it becomes stable.
I don't like it.
Does that make sense?
No.
That's a lot of people are comfortable
course
with that
not. What the
concept.
No.
Anyways, but yeah, DeFi has been taking off. I figured DeFi was worth mentioning. What else? Boop boop boop. Boop 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 boop. Boop 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 boop.
I'm eating pie, so
I know
I'm not
you just
responsible
I don't know
for
what
what's
yeah,
happening right now.
there's a lot going on over there. You're just
Oh my
we
God.
have a show and it's supposed to be that we're having a conversation, and then most of the time I'm just talking and Tim's just fucking off.
People love the dynamic.
Oh, is that so?
I keep telling you, they love our banter.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
eating pie. You're talking about DeFi. Like, come on.
DeFi. Okay. All right. I'll let it slide.
They love it.
I'll let it slide. Uphold. So if you guys are in Latin America, if you guys are viewing us from Latin America, thank you for tuning in. Uphold.
Shout out all my Latinx out there.
Your Latinx. Uphold is allowing you to invest into invest fractionally into companies like Amazon, Google, so on and so forth, using your crypto. Woo. So that's pretty cool. Does Cash App actually let you do that? Because you can get Bitcoin on there, but I don't know if you can invest your Bitcoin. I don't know if it converts it over
No.
if I want to buy a stock. I don't think
No.
it does that.
Here's the thing. How do you, that doesn't make any sense. How can you, what?
How can I what?
So I'm Latinx in like Latinx America.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could buy like American companies.
You can do that anywhere, yeah.
For real?
Are you serious? What? I can be in Japan and I can. What do you mean? The freaking Venezuelans own the road. What? What are you saying?
Yeah, but I just thought like the stock market, like
No, anyone can be on the stock market. What?
and that was only for us.
Why?
I don't know. Laws and stuff.
Why did you think it was only for you?
Because I want to feel special. I don't know.
No, sir.
That's stupid.
No, sir. Anyone can invest into
Ooh,
any
excuse
stocks.
me. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, no, it's not. Doesn't work. Doesn't work that way.
Interesting.
So you thought.
That's very interesting.
Very interesting. I'm thinking here. I'm thinking to see what other topics I had in mind. I don't think I have any more particularly. Just going to give out some event shout outs and tell you guys what we'll be up to within the near future.
What will we be up to in the
So
near future?
every Monday, guys, again, we do Crypto Mondays. This Monday, we were supposed to have Isaiah Jackson on from Bitcoin and Black America. However, due to some technical difficulties, we'll be having him on this following Monday. So if you guys would like to see Isaiah Jackson, both either his
My dog,
VR
shout out.
interview or interview just on a live stream, we will be on the live stream. Just check it out. It's every Monday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time. You could also join our group chat, t.me/Crypto Mondays VR. We also will have VR game night tomorrow if you guys like to play any VR games. Hyper Dash is a very popular game that's out right now. We'll be playing some Hyper Dash tomorrow and some other VR games, and that's going to take place in AltSpace. A good place to find all of our events is going to be on the Telegram group, Blockchain Universe. It's Blockchain Uni VR SE. And I want to say that's it. I don't have any other events off the top of my head that we've been doing.
Cringe?
That's just about it. That's it.
The cringe is astounding. Oh, I didn't even, excuse me, see that.
The cringe? Who said cringe?
I don't know, somebody named Ryan. The cringe is astounding. I don't know if that was when I was eating pie. I don't know. Ryan 20XX, you know, so sorry that the cringe is astounding. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, that's what life is. Just read the comments, you know, you guys are being mean to me, and you know what? I'm over it. Goodbye.
All right, guys, that's it for today's Drunk Crypto Variety Show. We will see you guys next time, next Thursday, same time. It'll be a new month. New month, that's it. I was about to say new year, but it's not. So do your research, stay informed, don't fall for mass media, and make sure that you stay knowledgeable.
Stay knowledgeable. Peace out, nerds.